Yo, what's up, guys? Coach Breezy here. Just want to let you guys know that I will be doing more VOD review videos. So if you do have VODs that you want to show me, my Discord will be down in the description. Hit me up on Discord. Also, I do email too, so send me the links of your VODs in email. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this video. Today we are reviewing Tadis and Loadaz, two really good players that I think can develop and be great future generation gamers. I think that these two are really compatible together and they work well together, and I hope they continue to be a duo. But today we're going to be talking about missed opportunities and also good things that happened during this game. This is game 1 of semis. We are only going to be doing this game because it's a perfect video to demonstrate missed opportunities and also the good decisions that they made for this game. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get into their off spawn here. Only one team lands here with them during this first game, which is actually really surprising. Usually we see around 2 to 3 teams that land here, or even 4 maybe. But what I want to talk about right off spawn is that they have, instead of landing the main building, they have drops to position themselves on the high ground near the rifts, and both of them do a really great job of just getting a gun, seeing like if they could get free tags off spawn, which is really great. Also, here Tadis and Loadaz both, while they're looting, which I don't see enough players doing this. Like, there are some players that really don't make sure they have mats off spawn to fight with the loot that they have. But yeah, making sure that you have enough mats to fight off spawn with the loot that you have by farming furniture is really useful, because there could be times where you get pushed immediately and then some people just don't focus on getting mats, which both of these two do a great job at, and they come out of their houses with at least like 300 to 400 builds off of just furniture, which is insane, and it doesn't take that much time at all. Oh yeah, they did it. This was really good. I don't know if Loadaz is a controller player or not yet, but if you ever have anybody that has really good aim, I'm just gonna guess here that Loadaz is a controller player. Giving Loadaz the gun was a really good idea, especially since Loadaz possibly might be on controller or just has better aim. There's no other reason that Tadis would have gave Loadaz that gold AUG, other than Loadaz having good aim. So, but it's really good that they landed on this side of Craggy, because they have two options. They could fight with a really great position, like Loadaz is getting right here. Loadaz has a really great position on Clock Tower, can see everything that's going on. They have the high ground, they have the positioning, and if they don't have that good of loot, then they could just rotate. But I believe they do end up rotating here later on, which is a really good idea, and really it was done well. I don't think I would have taken this fight either, but they did a smart play by leaving, because they did not have to fight this at all. And they do need shields, I believe. I believe they do need shields. Let's look at Tadis. Yeah, they do need shields, so it was a good call leaving. I believe they saw the Stark ship. It was looted, unfortunately, but they went to a different loot path, which was actually right in mid zone, which right here in this zone, when you have these type of zones where Stark pulls to Stark, you want to be at the highest point of Stark, which is right here in the center of the zone. I believe that this was a great rotate, and then also like looting this loot path, because there is loot here to be gotten. There is loot here to be farmed and stuff. They can farm up their brick, wood. Unfortunately, there's no metal other than the bridge right here, but I don't think they take the time to loot that. But it would have been really good if they could farm up some metal over here. But other than that, this spot is a great area, and when you have these types of zones that pull straight to Stark, all these teams out here need to be focusing on getting to zone, because that's what's more important right now, is getting to zone, getting to the Stark hill, and not being like forced to play edge zone when second zone appears. So yeah. Okay, so here I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning was for going to risky and leaving this high ground. I don't know what was the point of going to risky and leaving this high ground. There's nothing there. They see that there's builds there. They could have thought that somebody was based up and they could be shambles, but I still do not see the point of going down here. But they do go down here. They lose high ground, or they don't lose it, but they give it up. I guess it was just to farm more metal, possibly, and see if there's extra loot to get. But honestly, I don't see the point in wasting time here. They had the high ground, they had the shields, they got impulses from that old loot path that they had up at mid zone on high ground. They could have just went back to the bridge, farmed up their metal while one stayed up here to watch everything. That would have been a great idea, but yeah, I do not see the point in coming too risky off of the high ground after they just gotten all that loot there. The only reason I could see them going here is for extra loot, which they do need, kind of. It's not really a necessity, but I feel as though that they could have definitely just stayed up here on high ground and not have given that up. But we're going to go ahead and play the rest of this out. I believe a team came up here soon. Yes, Zare and another person came up here. They heard the car. They were looking for it. Zare, again, this is what I mean, guys. This is exactly what I mean. Look at this team coming from, like, edge zone, going all the way up on this great position during the zone. They went up with the car, got a really great position. Nobody is up here, and that is a missed opportunity on early on high ground. Because I believe once this zone closes, it's obviously going to pull the Stark. Usually zones like this pull the Stark anywhere on the piece of Stark, but usually pulls closer towards the center with these two mountains in zone. So we are going to see here the zone pull in just a moment. I don't see why they're rotating to the right. I don't see why they're rotating to the right here. There's no point. They should just go straight up to this hill and contest this early on. But so now they base up. They base up here on the opposite side of the mountain, thinking that, I'm pretty sure they thought that this was gonna pull zone. This mountain here was gonna pull zone. But you always want to be in mid zone during second closing, or first closing and second closing. You always want to be like close to mid zone, so you can get the next zone or be prepared for the next rotation for the zone. Which, this is not a bad spot, but it's a missed opportunity on staying here and gaining high ground immediately without using any rotation at all. But now you're seeing all these teams becoming congested up here. Everybody's going to start traveling up here. And there's not many shots that went off up here in this area. Everybody just stayed pretty much calm and waited for the next zone, waited for third zone to appear. But yeah, they are in a decent spot. They're not in a bad spot. They should be looking for any types of tags as possible, though, which they are not doing. Getting bolt, typical stuff. Check the bolt to see if there's any extra loot to get. They have really good loot right now. Unfortunately, Tadis does get tagged. He does get tagged for a great amount. 50 damage is a lot. But yeah, they head back to their base to heal up. Again, this is not a bad spot in zone. This is not a bad spot in zone, guys, but you want to be closer to the high ground so you can plan out your rotations further on. Anytime you see a mountain that's in zone, like here as well, even here on edge zone on a mountain is going to be your greatest friend when you're going to try and plan out these rotations, guys. So take that into account for. Alright, so let's look at this rotation, guys. Let me go ahead and go in drone free for you guys real quick. And let's look at this rotation that they take from their base. Obviously, there is lots of teams, like I said before, that are up here already. And that is just all these teams. I'm pretty sure have came from places that are like all the northern teams are obviously going to be coming from the coral reefs and all that. Dooms as well, going to be coming from the north side, trying to get up this hill for a good position without using any rotation. NRG Zate and Safi, these are people to be watching, because these two players are they have really good position right now, and I believe they wait here for a bit, but they come up the mountain and eventually get high ground later on in the game. But yeah, so let's go ahead and watch this rotation real quick though. Nothing bad with this rotation. They are getting looked at by teams. The teams on this hill will be looking at anybody that's going to be on the east side, so that is nothing to expect. But yeah, so right now they aren't getting focused. Now they're getting focused by a few teams. They still have to move a little bit deeper in zone if they want to, but this is also a good spot. I realized that their edge, this is a decent spot that they could have based at, which they did. But let's go ahead and speed it up and wait for this zone to close. Oh, what I want to speak about here, guys, is that when you're editing these floors and cones, you want to always reset the floor right after. A great example is what Tadis is doing right now. Reset the floor right after, so people don't know that you're peeking through the cone. Because when you have it open like this, they can see this bit of floor, and then all it takes is just a double spray for anything to go wrong. A double spray and one of your teammates could go down easily. But yeah, so just always make sure to reset floors so people don't know that you're peeking through the cone. Does lead to double sprays and could eventually lead up to your death. So but let's go ahead and speed this back up or speed this up to zone close, because they are at a decent position. Let's go ahead and wait for this next zone up here. I believe this zone pulls max distance to the west. Alright, now this is what I'm talking about, the missed opportunities, guys. So imagine if they never left here, they never left this spot up here on top of the mountain. Imagine if they never left this spot on top of the mountain. So instead of going to risky for whatever reason they chose, which it wasn't bad going to risky, I mean, they're just looking for loot and stuff like that, but another missed opportunity is that you could be on this hill, and I believe yes, Loadaz did receive two impulses actually from this loot path that they did early on in the game. They did receive 2 impulses. They could have used one of these impulses to do a bouncer impulse to get way deeper into zone, probably focusing more on the southwestern side of the map would have been great to focus on, or anything near mid zone would have been great as well. But yeah, it's just one missed opportunity that's really vital. Like if they were up there, they could have impulsed, had a really good spot in zone, not have been focused, and use less mats than they use here, because I believe they are about to use some mats here to get in zone. Also, doing early rotates and being aware of your surroundings is really good. Like Loadaz needs to, I know you can't see this, or I know you can't see if these people are leaving, but a great idea is to actually spray these builds to see if they're still in there, because you can't be waiting here on edge zone when the zone's pulling max distance and you only have 2 impulses, so you want to save as much rotation as you can. But they do end up staying here. They could have rotated early. Now you have this team right here, I believe, and I think this team does have impulses. Let's see. Let's check here. Anybody on this mountain should have impulses. Everybody on this mountain actually does have impulses. Yes, 3 impulses there. We have Edgy. No rotation, but I believe he does have. Does he have a teammate? I don't believe he has a teammate, but he can just hop in the water, rotate in the zone. Let's check Arc. Arc has 4 crash pads. Looking like everybody has impulses on this mountain and really good loot. So it's really good for them to be up there and then just use that impulse just to get to zone without using any mats. But we're going to go ahead and see when these two rotate. See how the Spade and OT use their impulse just from here, just from this base. Really good bouncer impulse, got into mid zone or got into edge zone, which is no problem at all. But yeah, let's go ahead and watch this. They are still not rotating. They are still not rotating. And another, like I said before, you need to be checking to see if people are rotating. All you have to do is just shoot these builds, shoot some builds, and see if they're still in there. That's all it takes is a couple bullets. But they end up rotating. They end up using an impulse here, which I do not see the reason why you guys needed to use a bouncer impulse. Everybody here is rotated already, and worst case scenario is that nobody has rotated to the zone and you get focused. But this is not the worst case scenario. Again, checking to see if people are still in builds is really valuable, because then you would be able to see that this whole southern side is going to be a free rotation, and then there's an opportunity to use the bouncer to rotate into zone and not get shot at, not waste that much material. But yeah, they do use the bouncer impulse play. It doesn't get them that far. It gets them to about right about here. They are a little bit congested, which is definitely okay. They do a great job here of holding together and then figuring out that they have to go bottom right, which is really good. They got a different positioning. Let's go ahead and follow this right here. And they arrive in zone. Loadaz boxes a little bit more ahead, which is great positioning for this. And then Tadis chooses not to build right next to the box and goes to the outer side or outermost side of Loadaz, which is really good. And Tadis does a great job of that the whole entire time. Every time they box up, Tadis is always building one more box opposite side of the opponent's team, which is really good, and really good space in between them too. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and speed this up, wait for a 5th zone to appear. Alright, now this is really crucial, guys. This is all about awareness. So they're going to go ahead and do a bouncer play, which is totally fine, which is very perfect, get more deeper in the zone. But also, here's something that is really mind-blowing. This team actually went down to push a solo. They Loadaz and Tadis build right here, bouncer over to here, which is really great. But this right here is free right now. This high ground right here, this high ground early on, from timestamp 1925 and I believe to 1955 is the lost opportunity of retrieving height while the zone is closing, which is really it's just mind-blowing that they did not see this. But it's okay. We're all here to learn from it. We're all here to become better players than we are from the day before. So we're going to go ahead and play this out. Yeah, but this high ground stays here for a long time. Stays here for a full 30 seconds. Currently they are not looking at high ground. They're just chilling in their boxes right now, kind of focused on other people, not looking up at all. And the high ground is still free, guys. High ground is still free, and it becomes unfree in about, somebody bounce their impulse here in just a couple seconds. They're gonna bounce their impulse. Here we go. Yep, here we go. Bouncer impulse play easy high ground for this team. Definitely think that this was a big missed opportunity. But that is fine. That is fine. There's no problem in that. They can still make a good game out of this with the loadout that they have. Alright, so once the zone closes, everybody should be focused on the zone when it closes. The reason why is because you need to start planning out your rotations and making sure you stay ahead of zone at all times when rotating through these 6th, 7th, and 8th zone. Maybe not the 8th zone, but 6th and 7th zone, you need to be making sure that you're staying ahead and also looking for opportunities to take height with impulses, bouncers, crash pads, any of that. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and go drone free real quick. Zone appears, guys, and look who is at height right now. Look at the two people that are at height. Zayt and Safi are already at height, looking at zone. Both of them trying to see what they can do to get there fast enough. Both teams, both of them, they do have crash pads, they do have bouncers, but both teams, the Pan, I don't believe this team does have bouncers, but let's go ahead and see. He's playing with Skull. They have one bouncer. They could use that bouncer to get ahead of zone easily. But that team does a great job of, this is what I'm talking about, the missed opportunity. Another missed opportunity here, going for height, taking this high ground first on, early on in the 5th zone appearing would have been great instead of bouncing and boxing up. You guys got to be looking around for any missed opportunities, is becoming more aware of your surroundings. This is what costs people games, is just these missed opportunities here. But let's go ahead and play it out. I believe Zayt and Safi take this early on and start rotating with the bouncers, and they do take this. This is old builds. They got ahead of zone early on, and eventually take high ground, and I do believe that they do take high ground for this whole game and go on to winning the game as well. But let's go back to the Loadaz and Tadis for this. Right now, the zone or Storm Surge will pop up soon in 6th zone closing because there is 48 people alive, 28 teams. But yeah, so yeah, they are below right now. So if I were them, I would be looking for some type of pick or anything like that. They do get a pick right here, which is really good. The zone hasn't reached their backs yet, so it is a good time to look for any type of pick that they can get. But yeah, so they do a bouncer impulse play, which again, guys, being aware of your surroundings and seeing what lies beyond you is really good. Like you cannot use bouncer impulses when there are tons of builds in front of you, and obviously they want to go towards the northeastern side, which they have tons of builds to go through, especially impulsing from low ground here. If you see Loadaz is going to be sent through all of these builds here, so somebody has to be looking through these cones, seeing where they can impulse, boxing out to make a better position for the impulse play. But I do believe that they do get separated because of this impulse here. Yes, they do both go on opposite sides. The left side is dead side, so Tadis is in a great position here later on. But let's go ahead and go to Loadaz here. On the low ground, right side. This is not dead side. This is the most congested side right here. He makes his way on low ground towards Tadis, which is really good. Really good rotate, not being seen by many teams. This is great right here. This is great positioning. I believe Loadaz continues to... Oh, they do get a pick here. This is... Oh, no, this was not a pick. This was not a pick. Okay. Other team gets the pick. This is This is another missed opportunity, guys. 7th zone appears right away. I know it's, like, right away, though. I know it's right away and it happens like instantly, and the zone pulls max distance again. But Tadis was on the dead side. He did I do believe that Tadis did realize that he was on the dead side early on when he used that impulse to bouncer impulse up here and get on the dead side. But with zone being so, with zone pulling max distance right off the bat, neither of them are gonna be thinking of left side being dead side, because it is in the moment you are frightened of being like suffocated in zone in all these builds. So obviously they're going to take the easy route. Loadaz tells Tadis to come and bouncer, so they get the mat refresh off of this guy, which was perfectly fine. But somebody always needs to be looking to see like where these builds are leading, like where these builds are leading and where it takes them. Unfortunately, Loadaz gets killed, runs into a box unfortunately, and now we're on to Tadis playing his own game. Tadis unfortunately has 8 builds, so he's going to be using as minimal mats as possible, popping a med kit. Again, left side is dead side, and he pops this med kit off. Again, goes up to Stark Mountain. Again, left side is dead side. They could have made this rotation over here early on, up this mountain right here. They could have made this rotation early on and been in a really good spot right here. Possibly even taking out high ground early on as well. But again, like I said, Zayt Saf, really good knowledge of the game and rotating early on. Use very minimal mats. If you can see in zone here, they use a little bit of metal, then switch on to wood, and then switch on to brick later on to have a good foundation. But yeah, so we are going to go ahead and play the rest of this out. I do believe he does get a pick here. Tadis does. He gets a pick. Rotates in more. He's trying his best to play the zone. Tries to pressure this kid. All he has to do is, all his choices is to fight the team on the bottom or rotate and also use the med kit that he had. Unfortunately, he does get killed for using that med kit, and that's how the game goes, guys. It happens. This was a really great example of missed opportunities, but they do have a couple of great things that they did during this game. But yeah, guys, that is going to be the end of the video here, and honestly, I do believe that this was a great game. I do believe that they could have gotten way more points than they had during this tournament, but this was just one game talking about missed opportunities, but also the positive things that they did do during this game. But yeah, if you guys want more, go ahead and like, subscribe, comment on the video, comment any ideas or people that you want me to VOD review, and yeah, Coach Breezy out.